Welcome to Curb Your Feminism Part 3. Hopefully, if you've clicked on this, you've seen the other videos. If not, please brace for it, because using the power of clips, we're going to show how feminism is got out of control. Let's get straight to it with some clips.
Has Britain become hostile to blokes?
Well, firstly, Jeremy Clarkson is not about freedom of speech. It's about whether there was a fight. It's not. It doesn't matter whether there's a petition.
Let's move on to those who support him and those who feel that their freedoms have been curtailed.
Let's talk about this crisis of masculinity or whatever. First of all, is there a war on men? Well, no, there simply isn't, is the answer. If you look at any of the corridors of power, men massively outnumber women in this country and all around the world. But is there, these days, that there's a difference between men, isn't there, and blokes or lads or this kind of culture, which, you're right, is a relatively new thing. You know, 100 years ago, there wasn't this culture of, lad culture. It's a very modern 21st century thing.
I actually disagree with that. I think there were probably lads in the cavemen time. I mean,
but I don't think they were the same. I don't think that it was the same situation that we've got now with sort of like widespread, very violent online pornography, this kind of stuff that is new, and it's a new challenge for people to deal with. And is there, a reaction to that and a backlash against that? Are people, because I think that actually, you're right, young guys at university, they're being sold this story of like, yay, Jack the lad, drink loads, go out, you're expected to have hundreds of girlfriends and all this kind of stuff. And I think that they're being encouraged sometimes to behave in a way that isn't appropriate. And I think if people are pushing back against that, then that's great news.
So she's off again. So, yeah, I kind of get what she's saying. There is a difference between lads and blokes. But I kind of believe that's still the same sort of thing to a point. And isn't there a subculture where women go out and get absolutely lashed at university? I thought everyone got smashed at university, not just men, but,
Do you think that roles have become blurred? Do you think that some men feel that they are not allowed to be men anymore in our society in 2015?
I feel that there's a greater stigma on males than there would be on females. Certainly, if you see that if a woman did exactly the same thing as Jeremy Clarkson said, no one would say that. Is there a problem with women today or so on?
So it's kind of tougher for men.
They would view it as very sexist. So the fact that we're okay to bring up Jeremy Clarkson's gender in this shows the problem, that there is an issue of stigma attached to men. Whenever we do something, it will be reflected in the media as part of our gender.
I'm sorry, speaking as a woman who does stand-up comedy, any time I do a show and something isn't perfect about this show, somebody starts talking about women in comedy. The idea that women are not stigmatised by the actions of individuals within their number is a complete myth. It's just not
to the same degree as men.
My point was
to the same degree.
More than men. We talk about women in politics and the way they dress. We don't talk about men in politics and the way they dress. The idea that men are specially stigmatised, I'm sorry, but that's a ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous.
The truth is,
and it's offensive to say it's ridiculous, because once again, it's just all dismissed. Now, I'm a committee member of the Being a Man Festival at the South Bank Centre, where we are trying to give men an opportunity to be able to talk about things that matter. The biggest killer of men under 45 in the UK is suicide. Now, what's happening? Why is this going on? Right? And I'll tell you why.
But to say,
listen,
but Martin, to
can I talk?
But if you're going to say this is not
OK, let Martin talk.
What's happening is that the Campaign Against Living Miserably, the charity that represents this, is desperate for more funds to look into why this is going on. But they're not getting it. And I'll tell you why, because men don't qualify as a minority interest, and we don't get preferential funding. Right? You can bet your life, if women start killing themselves, or Muslims did, or black guys, there would be, front page news, guaranteed government inquiry, millions of pounds of funds.
He's hit the nail on the head there, and that is the reality of it. No one cares about the average white male, I don't think, as much anymore. I think it is all steering towards women. And I don't think if you ask a majority of women if they feel that they're having sexism in their workplace, I'd imagine that a majority of them don't, because the reality is women can do just as much as men. And there is just as much issues against men now as women, but no one seems to care about the man anymore. Men are seen as rapists, murderers, and women aren't. We are just always, we're to blame, basically.
Ali Peck here. I mean, a lot of women are killed in domestic violence, disproportionately, many more. Let Sally speak.
There's a huge problem in this country with gender equality. I mean, as you've seen recently in the global gender gap, we've fallen to 26th place in the world which is really embarrassing. We used to be 9th place 10 years ago. But the real problem, yes, men have a much higher suicide rate, and that's because we tell children when they're 1 year old that boys and girls are different. And this causes boys to grow up without any emotional intelligence. People think, oh yeah, we need gender equality because this will get girls into STEM subjects, which is true. But even more important than that, we need gender equality so that boys won't be violent. There's a wonderful charity based in Edinburgh called Zero Tolerance, which is teaching gender equality to childminders so that they can teach children that they're equal, they have equal opportunities, and they do it specifically to reduce violence from men to women when they're adults. We need to start much earlier than men.
OK, Milo, you want to come in?
Unbelievable, astonishing sexism. We have to teach young boys not to be boys so they won't be violent.
Why is being violent being...
Get out! I'm sorry. Like, gender, we teach boys and girls that they're the same, and that's a problem. They are different. When we do experiments on young babies and even on related animals, we know that certain children go for certain toys. Boys and girls are different. To give you some context for all of this, you have to understand a little bit about the history of feminism. There have been two main strands.
And here is our local expert.
Well, of course, because of course men aren't allowed to speak about anything that isn't to do with men.
The things
except
that you've
no one's really interested in.
already said indicate that you know nothing about
all right, well,
I'm totally for women, equal rights and all that, but this feminist does take it to another level. The reality is men are pretty much the guilty party now all the time. We're guilty for everything that goes on in the world. Everything and anything men are guilty for. And sometimes that is the case. But women have such a huge following now. Women are so getting there education-wise, job-wise. There's equal pay throughout the UK now because obviously it's illegal if you pay someone more than the other person. White, black, woman, whatever, you are paid the same. So women, in my opinion, they're getting it just as good as men. If anything, the focus is more on women now than it ever has been about men.
Expressing themselves, then what we need to do is make the internet a place where they can do so. That means bringing in sensible laws and training the police to deal with these kind of things. With this, we need straightforward training on what, when to act and when not to act, to make sure that the worst things, the rape and the death threats, the horrific harassment and abuse is dealt with. And I think that when we see a few high-profile individuals, perhaps including some in this studio, locked up, it'll be time for other people to back off. And I very much look forward to that day.
People can be made to feel victimised and very nervous and scared of the internet, whether that be men or women. But actually, I want to pull, and it's both kind of very pathetic view of how people deal with insults and words, because really most people, especially on Twitter, when they receive this kind of
rape and death.
Rape and death threats are bad, but when they receive this kind of rubbish on Twitter, they block or they ignore. And I really want to pick up on this idea that women,
please, Kate, let us.
It's very telling. That's kind of, this is what happens. Middle-class women decide that they want to take on the plight of women and that women are victimised. Women can't handle the internet. It's absolutely ridiculous and disgusting and sexist and patronising to say that women can't handle the internet. The internet should never be a safe space. The internet women should be able to experience everything.
I think she just got owned right then by a woman. That's the reality. You can't shield people away from things. I think racism shouldn't go on, and I don't think sexism should go on. But the reality is, it's there. Racism is illegal, and you can't be racist on any social media outlet, or you do get a ban, and that's a fact. But is sexism illegal? Well, it's not, but it is in the workplace to a point. Obviously, you can't be sexist in the workplace or anything like that, but you can be sexist on the internet if you want to be. But it's a choice of opinion. It's a choice of someone's opinion, and you can't go on every single person for every little comment. And people like Kate just want to she wants to have a good old argument with everybody. So any comments you'd like to write, then please do so in the comment box, including if there's anything you want me to do a video about. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and thank you very much for watching. My name's Average Dave, and please click on either video if you wish to see another one. And I don't earn any money from this channel, so don't think you're feeding my pockets, because you really don't at the moment. So thank you and goodbye.